There's so many articles, you could never read them all in a lifetime. They come out so fast. Google UN troops torturing children. Let's show them beating a 5-year-old to death. And we're going to show you the really hardcore stuff. And then let's show them roasting a small boy over a fire. Yeah, click images. Click images for everybody right here. Oh, you're so scared of imaginary vampires. But see, that's why you're so scared by that TV commercial. Because subconsciously, your subconscious knows there are actually people who are the equivalent of vampires running things. That's why you're really scared of Al-Qaeda, because deep down you know there is a hidden force wanting to enslave and destroy you. But it's your own criminal government, and they understand that as psych warfare chiefs. I mean, it's just savage what they do to them, and nobody's going to stop them, because now they got diplomatic immunity in America to do whatever they want to your kids. Oh, man. Who do you think runs the drugs? Interpol, set up by the Rockefellers. Haiti police and UN troops massacre continues. Those who protect the Haiti rich elite or corrupt government continue to kill. Everywhere they go. Google DynCorp caught in sex trade or slave sex trade. They had to change their name because of it. Using UN immunity, just literal airports just filled with jet aircraft taking off with the slave goods. Oh, but everything's fine. You're in the red, white, and blue. The bankers won't do anything to you. Everything's fine. Huckabee's going to save you in the next election. Or Al Gore's going to save you if you're a stupid leftist. All you people are fools, folks. None of it means anything. It's all complete window dressing. DynCorp and Halliburton sex slave scandal won't go away. That's a PrisonPlanet.com article. Scroll down. It'll have mainstream clips in it. Yeah, let's see if that YouTube video is still up of a congressional hearing where Donald Rumsfeld admits, yeah, they do run giant slave grids, but here, crank up the audio for folks. They can just hear it right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I watched President Bush deliver a moving speech at the United Nations in September 2003. In which he mentioned the crisis of the sex trade. The president called for the punishment of those involved in this horrible business. But at the very moment of that speech, DynCorp was exposed for having been involved in the buying and selling of young women and children. While all of this was going on, DynCorp kept the Pentagon contract to administer the smallpox and anthrax vaccines, and is now working on a plague vaccine through the Joint Vaccine Acquisition Program. Mr. Secretary, is
we'll be right back.
Of the U.S. government to reward companies?
We'll be right back. And I promise I'm going to get to your phone calls, too. It's just, folks, evil runs our government. Doesn't matter who gets in office. It's only going to get worse till you stand up and admit it. The whole thing's rotten. The whole thing's rotten. Yeah, one time I was in downtown Austin in front of DynCorp's main office, and there were these cops standing out front, and I walked over and I said, you know, they've been caught as one of the biggest child trafficking groups in the world, and they don't even get in trouble. And the cops just said, yeah, I do work for them sometime, and started laughing at me. And I don't think those Austin cops were involved, but see, it's funny. But if they're told to freak out and get all scared of some patsy who got tricked onto getting onto an airplane with some explosive, you know, if they'll get all scared and serious, or if they pull you over and your kid wasn't in their seatbelt right, they're going to go ahead and CPS them and take it all serious and give you no leeway. And, you know, just, I've got to throw the book at you, ma'am. I'm sorry, but you're a criminal. But if you're a big, giant global power, they just fall down and worship you. But it's not just the police. It's the general public. Yuppies and people. They think it's cool and cute not to care. They think it's cool to conform and go along with the system and never make waves. And so our society will fall. We will lose everything. Only 0.1% will end up with 90+% of the wealth. And all of you that enjoyed incredible wealth and success, you will end up losing everything you have in the next decade. Most of you will end up losing almost everything you've got, and you'll still defend the system because you're cowards deep down. You make a split-second decision, like Orwell talked about with Crime Stop, to serve the evil. Most people did in Russia. Most people did in Nazi Germany. Most people did throughout history. It's shameful. And I'm here so you get to hear the truth at least once and know that you had a choice to make. But when the system attacks you, when the system's got you cornered, and none of your neighbors or nobody cares about you because they've all been trained to watch their fellow humans torn apart. They've all been trained to let this predatory, parasitic, vampiric government feed on us. And the vampires, and I mean that figuratively, for the New York Times writes an article about me, they think of you as food. They think of you as steak on the table. They think of you as like a cat thinks of a mouse. They're cold-blooded. They don't care. All right, I said I'd take calls, and I'll get into the healthcare thing. It's just reading the healthcare, how it lets the government run your life and know all your records and put you in jail for 5 years if you don't get it and take money out of your check and cut Medicare and Medicaid. I mean, it even cuts what you get, just like the banker bailout was a robbery. Everything's a robbery. Everything's a scam. Everything's a fraud because we have a criminal hijacked government. The republic is falling. It's going away. Your entire Bill of Rights is being trampled on. Homeland Security and Northcom were built for you. The milk cow that they're milking, that they're sucking blood out of. Don't you get it? They know they're criminals. That's why they're militarizing against you and brainwashing our young people that it's macho and cool to engage in predator activity on their own people. Matt and then Julio. Matt in Indiana, go ahead. I'm going to quit ranting.
Mr. Jones.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, good to talk to you, brother. I sent you guys a clip of the Weather Channel clip of the UN. They're talking about free condoms to combat climate change, and it was interesting because they're saying they're teaching everybody ban kids over 1 for the world government. They called for that in Copenhagen, a world government quote to enforce one-child policy. Go ahead. And it was interesting because the news anchor was actually discrediting the UN propaganda. And I also had another point. I watched the other day. It was funny because you had a call the other day, call about Jesse Ventura and his creationism and versus evolution. And I watched Ben Stein's Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed, and it has a great section in there.
Yeah, Ben Stein, of course, worked for a bunch of presidents and others. We're going to get him on. His film, for those that don't know, he found out what I found out in Endgame, my film, that it's all eugenicists. His film came out a year after mine, that eugenicists, that a eugenics cult is running everything. Go ahead.
I think he gets it, and it's interesting to see the correlation between the persecution of the people on the side of creationism and the persecution of the people on the side of evolutionism as it ties to ClimateGate and the people on both sides of that. And then also on just a final point, sir, if you could ever talk about the Montana Freemen, and if you could elaborate on any of that and what you might know about it.
Well, I know they got set up. They were really asking for it. I mean, people just walk right into this. I mean, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Was there ideas that the more debt you have is the more money you have?
Listen, I appreciate your call. Yeah, man, I appreciate your call. Listen, it's called Patriot Mythology. And so people go, well, the private central banks are allowed, for every dollar of deposit they've got, every dollar the federal government creates, they get to loan out 10. So they get to buy up real assets and buy up media and buy up governments. So since the banks count debts through fractional reserve banking as a net asset, then we can do that too. And no, it's only allowed through the private Federal Reserve in that cartel. It's a big club, and we ain't in it. And so they will send SWAT teams after you if you ever try to do what they're doing. Only the private offshore banks are allowed to kidnap children and run giant slave grids. They're the only ones allowed to create trillions of dollars in debt and put it on our backs. They're the only ones allowed to commit crime everywhere. They're the bankers. They own Interpol. They own the government. They are the crooks. Julio in Illinois, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex Jones, freedom fighter. Merry belated Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all the info warriors listening today and not watching football and drinking Mercury today. So Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Quick comment then to my question. I saw the New World Order documentary that you were in. I think it was on IFC. I saw it on this guy's website the other day. Fantastic. It's really scary when you're in that hotel room during the Bilderberg conference in Virginia and they pulled that fire alarm on you.
By the way, let me stop you. And then, but since you, well, you know what? Finish your point, and then I'm going to tell a story about that film, New World Order. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask a question. I think this week the government was trying to do some huge operations. You were talking about the underwear terrorist bomber. Here in Illinois, we weren't expected to have a huge snowstorm. We're only supposed to have an inch or 3 of snow. And I remember I keep telling you about that Air Force report in 1996. I think they were doing it here in Illinois. We had like 2 feet of snow this weekend. We weren't expected to have this. So, again, I think the government's been doing something this entire week against the people.